Good afternoon. Welcome to Love Legacy, lifting our voices effectively. This is Lori from Design to Succeed Initiative, and also I have a couple of my sisters that are here with us today. We're going to have a roundtable discussion about digital abuse, and digital abuse being you never deserve to be mistreated online or offline. It's never okay for a partner or a friend to use technology such as texting, social media, bullying, harassing, stalking, or to intimidate you. And we're also going to have Judy talk about, just give you a little brief how that relates to domestic violence.
Hi, my name is Judith, and I'm the president of Inspiration for Tomorrow, Inc. It's a nonprofit organization. We work with domestic violence victims and survivors. First, I would like to talk about what is online abuse. Online abuse is any type of abuse that happens on the internet. It can happen across any device that's connected to the web, like computers, tablets, and mobile phone. I would like to say, what is domestic violence? How does it connect with domestic violence? Domestic violence is called intimate partner violence. Domestic violence is abuse or any type of relationship that is abuse, a pattern of behaviors used by one partner to maintain power of control over another partner. One type of the domestic violence abuse is physical. If your partner is physically harmed or arouse fear, prevents you from doing things that you wish to do, it's one type of physical abuse.
Okay, so thank you for, we just given a little definition of that. So we're just going to have a roundtable, laid back discussion about what that relates, how that connects to us. And we're going to ask LaDon to facilitate that, give us some questions. Welcome, LaDon.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invite. A couple of questions in regards to digital abuse. What is it?
Let's say if your partner don't want you to go online, if they don't want you to have Facebook friends, don't want you to connect with anyone on the social media. That's one type of digital abuse.
Wasn't there something in the news recently about a young lady coercing a young man and he ended up taking his life?
Yes.
Where's that article?
It was on the news. I found it on the news, and matter of fact, they put it on the 5 o'clock news, the 7 o'clock news. It was a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about that he ended up taking his life. And she was brought to trial for that, and she was found guilty, and she ended up serving time. And just recently, I think just a couple of weeks ago, she was released on good behavior. But he's lost his life. And how they were able to prosecute her and convict her was based on the texting, the words, and the actual, they keep a script of what you say on your phone. So that's what convicted her and found her guilty. They didn't, I don't think it was first degree murder, but at least I think it was what do they call it? If it's not first degree murder, what is the other word for it?
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter,
Right.
yes. So she got served. She got time on manslaughter charges. So she thought she was going to get off, but that's something that's very serious. And then I also heard another news during the news time about this Asian young man who was graduating, and his family was waiting for him at the ceremony, and he jumped from the parking lot on the 4th floor to kill himself. And as they found from the information of the texting between him and his girlfriend, it was as a result of the multiple, they said thousands and thousands of texts that really showed her saying he was no good, his family didn't think much of him. So all of that was just browbeating him believing that enough where he took his life. And the family didn't know anything about it. They're sitting waiting for a ceremony, and he's somewhere taking his life. So those, to me, are really resonated as like, wow, with the words, you can kill people with your words, just texting. Right. So to me, that's what I feel digital abuse is.
Right.
What about you, Tammy?
Yeah, I would totally agree. With everything being public, or at least a lot of the social media being public, you have no idea who you are reaching. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be between you or your boyfriend or girlfriend. It can be just obnoxious tweets that are public related, and you just can't tell the scope and the effect on that, which I think is a huge problem.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the news. I mean, you have the kids, it's not just kids, but also adults as well. They don't understand what's really going on, cyberbullying, harassment, catfishing, trolling. When Facebook started to become really popular, for instance, trolling, and no one really knew or understood how popular that word would become, starting in like 2018 on up to present day. But trolling is very dangerous, right? Catfishing is very dangerous. They have a show, I think it's on VH1 or MTV, and people pose as if they're someone else. They're communicating with someone online. And I'm amazed at how the television world has glorified this part of, it's basically, you're being deceiving, right? And one thing that scares me about the show, and I've watched just a handful of episodes, is what are you guys going to do when you come across that one person who has a mental or emotional break, and now they have killed someone that was on the show because you guys are taking this lightly, right? A lot of people don't understand the severity, how far it can go dealing with online abuse, digital abuse, right? The cyberbullying, as you stated. We have young kids who are taking their lives. It's, when you're young, especially when you're in college, your brain is still developing. There's a lot of pressure going on. I do remember that story, especially, when you have the young kids who are coming from different countries. Right. And they are here. A lot of times they're here without family members, close family members, and they're here for a bigger cause. So, it was selfish, it was inconsiderate for this young lady to psychologically abuse him. Right. Right?
I agree on that. And I think we need to let everyone know that they need to young kids need to reach out to if they need help, because suicidal is really a big thing. So by the digital abuse and texting, texting, all this technology going, the kids are going on, and especially young kids, and parents need to really monitor what the kids are watching and what the kids are doing on technology, because there's so many things out there with this this technology is a lot.
Well, I think that there. So I've heard, recently about the Tide Pods thing, where somebody posts something, and then everybody likes it, and then everybody decides it's a great idea to just eat Tide Pods, which is clearly not a good thing to do, because somebody started a post on social media saying, hey, we should do this, then they think it's cool and they want to do that.
Yes, and there's so many challenges out there, challenge this and challenge that.
Yes, the challenges are ridiculous.
They are. Did you guys see the challenge where, I don't know the exact name of it, but it was some type of fighting challenge where the kids were literally swinging closed fists into the air. And I'm looking, I saw that on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, this is the world we live in.
Yes,
right?
And there's another one too where they put one in the middle and then they slip their feet they're gonna dance, and they slip their feet, and the one they fall and hit their head and catch a concussion.
Oh yeah, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it. It's a dance move where you just you drop your body down on the floor. Forgot what they call it. I can't. It just slips my tongue. But you were talking about that young people need to reach out, recognizing the signs. And they said, well, how can I reach out? It's totally free, and it's confidential. You can call 1-800-799-SAFE, which the numbers are 7233. 1-800-799-SAFE. Just think about that. All right? And then you could also do the chat. It says you can chat also, thehotline.org. Okay, that's another way that you can reach out. And also not have to worry about your identity being exposed. So I really think that in recognizing the signs of abuse, there's a lot of people if you have low self-esteem, you don't care about yourself, or you're trying to build yourself. That's another thing about texting and digital. We put forth something that we're really not. So you can create yourself to be anything you want to be. And you may have the smallest self-esteem in terms of, you may feel like a little pea, but you put yourself as being this big mountain. And then when it's exposed, that's another way of just things clamoring down on you. And some people feel suicidal. I've been on Texas with some of my family members, or I feel like killing myself, or, I hate myself, or I want to die and I'm sick of this life. So I've done a lot of counseling. And a lot of, I would call them and say, get that off of there. What are you talking about? It may be having a rough day at this moment, but you don't really want to kill yourself. So to me, that's like a cry. You can look on there also and see people crying out. And then also for people who are in relationships, to keep a control and power, they'll say things to their counterpart, whether it's the woman or the vice versa, and call them all kinds of names on Facebook. That's a defaming. That's them just crushing you. But it's being crushed publicly because the whole world is seeing it. And so that's another way of abusing you, verbally abusing you, but through the vehicle of digitally texting. And so that's another thing that I had to deal with, counseling and monitoring between my children and their relationships, and just say, I don't care what she or what he did. Fighting online ain't it. That's not where you do it.
Which has become
because if something happens connected to what you said, that's going to be the thing, the proof that you said it. And you may have never did it, but you said it on Facebook. You said it in texting, and they have it. And they keep it, and they'll hold that against you. So you have to be careful about what you say. So,
and then another thing too is that people need to learn how to keep their privacy on Facebook too, to be safe online, because sometimes I might take a picture and then I post you, and here you were going to digital abuse. And you don't want your picture to be out there. You don't want your perpetrator to see that you're
it's called
online.
Doxing.
Yes.
When you're illegally obtaining, or you obtain someone's personal information without permission, and you release it to the public with the sole intent of causing some type of intentional damage. Because those things, defamation of character, slanders someone's character. Those things can prevent people from getting a job.
That's true.
Those things can prevent the person from maintaining their job, housing. It's just a lot. There's a lot of components to digital abuse that a lot of people don't realize. Sorry, cut you off. Sorry. So.
Yeah.
And also in the law enforcement, there were a couple of officers that post certain things on their Facebook, and they lost their jobs. So you have to be careful what you post in your job, because it can cost you to lose your job. Yes, absolutely. Even we saw it in the media with some of them, like the Me Too organization, the Me Too movement. A lot of people lost their jobs and stepped down from positions because that people who they violated back in the years speaking up, and it caused them to lose their positions, or at least disappear from the outside world. Let's take a back seat and see where this goes, get my lawyers involved so I can prepare to protect myself. But even though that accusation may or may not be true, it still was a damage to their image of who they are publicly. So it's been good conversation. about this digitally. We could go on and on and on, but we just want to just also give you some places that you can call, resources that you can take advantage of, that if you find yourself in any of these situations, and if not even digitally, in terms of digital abuse, you find yourself in situations of domestic violence abuse where somebody is causing harm to you or taking the power and the control over your life in any way, shape, or form, that is not okay. And there's places that you can reach out in confidentiality. We also had Dove, which is Domestic Violence Ended, and they have all kinds of support. You can reach out to them to their 24-hour hotline, 617-471-1234. Again, 617-471-1234. And then you also have Inspiration for Tomorrow with Judy. She can give you her number.
It's 508-474-9804. Again, it's Inspiration for Tomorrow, 508-474-9804.
Okay.
Or you can call the hotline, domestic violence hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233.
All right. So thank you very much, LaDon, for starting our questions and moderating that. And thank you so much, Tammy, for your input, and Judy as well. We're going to end this for today, and we'll see you on next month. Remember, lift your voice effectively. Love legacy. We love you. And remember that you are valuable.
Thank you for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think of the episode. And always remember to lift your voice effectively. Until next time, have a great day.